Funding for the challenge is made possible by St. Paul Travelers, with additional support provided by Ability Beyond Disability. The challenge is produced in association with Sarah Incorporated, with concept conceived by Hark. For centuries, they were outcasts, hidden from public view, or locked away in institutions that were little more than human warehouses. We assumed they would never be able to learn, to care for themselves, or to contribute to society, for they were mentally retarded. In the last 50 years, thanks to a grassroots civil rights movement, many people with intellectual disabilities have been able to attend public schools, hold jobs, own their own homes, and lead remarkably normal and productive lives. With so much accomplished, yet much more to be done, will we continue to meet the challenge? This is what remains of the Mansfield Training School in Mansfield, Connecticut. For more than 75 years, Mansfield housed thousands of adults and children who were deemed mentally retarded, until a lawsuit brought on behalf of the residents closed its doors in 1993. Those who visited Mansfield soon learned it was a school in name only, and cannot forget what they saw.
It was a terrible, terrible place. The boredom, bleakness of people just sitting around rocking. Day rooms, as they call them, big, barren, often cold rooms.
To see 40 people in a ward, people naked, feces on the floor, flies all over the place. It was terrible.
I will never forget, as long as I live. To this day, I have nightmares.
For decades, Mansfield was not the exception, but the norm. Peg Dignati, who has worked for more than 45 years on behalf of the people with intellectual disabilities, explains that as recently as the 1950s, a child with mental retardation was seen as a source of shame.
There was an enormous amount of guilt and shame in those days attached to having a child with mental retardation. The expression "in the closet" was perfected in our field. You know, you kept your person with mental retardation in the closet, kept him hidden.
One of the catalysts for change was Evelyn Kennedy of Bridgeport, Connecticut. In 1947, Evelyn and her husband John took their young son Brian to a pediatric specialist in New Haven.
There, I got words that will forever ring in my ears. Mr. and Mrs. Kennedy, you have a mentally retarded child. And he was born retarded and he'll die retarded. There's no miracle cure, there's no miracle anything. So you've got to make plans, for his future, and their advice to us then was words that are imprinted up here. Put them away and forget you ever had them. I remember John and I looked to one another. Put them away? No. Forget we ever had them? Oh, God, no. And without saying a word between us, we knew that Brian was to be with us for the rest of his life.
Whether she realized it or not at the time, Evelyn Kennedy's commitment to raising her child set her on a path that would benefit all of the children with intellectual disabilities in her community. Her mission began when she decided to seek help at a town meeting.
I just stood up when the time came and said, I am the mother of a mentally retarded child. It was a dead silence. People looked at me and so I had two heads. But when I stopped talking and I told them, all we want to do is keep him home. Keep him home and love him. Help us. Will you give us what we need to do this?
Evelyn's emotional plea reached beyond her neighbors to local schools and businesses who offered meeting rooms and assistance. But the most valuable contribution came from other parents like the Kennedys, who met for the first time to discuss the issues facing their families. And almost simultaneously, similar living room meetings were taking place in other communities across the state.
Something in the air in the post-World War II era convinced parents to stop hiding their children. And then in every state in the Union, the same thing happened over the same rough period of time, about 1948 to 1952. The little parent groups around the state began deciding that their children could learn.
In Bridgeport, the living room meetings led to the development of a small educational resource center, which gave these children their first social experiences.
They had company. They had company. They had somebody that could play with them. They had other parents that would take over for me if I wanted to go downtown to get my hair done or something, that would babysit for Brian. It was give and take. It was the picnics, the little things, but they never had them.
Again, in every state, same history, these little parent groups began learning about each other. And in Connecticut, 5 of them banded together and formed the State Association.
The organization was called the Association for Retarded Children, now known as the ARC Connecticut. In 1959, ARC successfully lobbied for the passage of the first law in the nation to require special education for people with intellectual disabilities. But that prospect frightened many in the public at large, as Peg Dignati soon learned.
I was a young kid at the desk that was getting the phone calls from people outraged, just absolutely outraged. How can you possibly bring these monsters, these perverts, these terrible people into the public schools? It'll be the death knell of public education in the country.
It wasn't, but lawmakers sought to repeal the legislation, and educators resisted implementation of the new law. Change was slow to come. Eva Eason, a 14-year-old with Down syndrome, attends 8th grade at Sachs Middle School in New Canaan, Connecticut, with all the other kids in her neighborhood. Eva's teachers have watched her adapt and learn.
Last year, it took her some time to settle in before she really was ready to attend. This year, it's not an issue at all. So we really have seen, and I think it has a lot to do with knowing what the teacher's expectations are. She's very comfortable in my class, so she comes in, knows exactly what she's supposed to do, and she's ready for the lesson when I begin with the whole class.
But Eva is getting more than an education. She's bonding with other children her age and developing friendships.
Well, when I was in the 3rd grade, I used to know Amy. Then we become best friends.
And everyone likes Eva. Eva has a lot of friends, and I'm glad to be her friend.
Friendship depends on proximity and frequency of contact and having good social skills. All of those things are learned by being in classes with typical kids. So Eva does have friends, and she's got best friends. She gets invited to parties, and she has a lot of social activities. So it's worked out great.
One I love from Amy, but sometimes if Amy sits with her friends, I always sit with Amy every day at lunchtime. But sometimes I sit by myself, all between a bunch of boys, who really sometimes slam the table when I'm trying to do something, like when I'm eating lunch. I always have the same lunch every single day, but I always sit with Amy, my best friend. I won't fit in there. What can it be? On the blank of the
Did you read it first? Okay, now just continue the line. Of the object and the amount of force. Apply. Does force fit in the blank?
Force, F-O-R-C-E. R-C-E.
Yeah, right force.
I'm supposed to say this.
Good job.
Eva's right to attend public school owes much to the work of attorneys like David Shaw, who has dedicated his practice to fighting for people with disabilities. Shaw also represented plaintiffs in the legal case that led to the closing of the Mansfield Training School, which started the movement toward community-based services. He maintains that inclusion benefits us all.
Children that are not disabled do learn a great deal, not only from the vantage point of being more compassionate, more understanding, but they actually have an impact on the achievement of the children that aren't disabled.
I think because of my relationship with Eva, I've became a stronger person emotionally and physically, I think, because Eva taught me that you have to like everybody, and she's a great person.
Talk to me about the slope.
Eva has had opportunities not yet available to all children in need. Advocates maintain that when given the chance, other children will do equally well. Today, Eva sets her sights on her future.
I think it's a good idea, but if I go to community college, I have to work hard and pass the test. If I pass high school and college, then I'll have a job, which I really want a job, though, when I'm 30 years old.
That job, Shaw knows, will be an important step toward Eva's independence.
These people should be working and earning money because people view people who work and earn money as being valuable. So we all now get the chance to meet these people and begin to understand that mentally retarded people aren't dangerous, aren't going to hurt anybody.
When I was younger, I had a scientist's dream, but college was too expensive. I decided to go to work. It started bumpy, but it got better. It's noisy, but I'm used to it, and I work hard, best I can. Have trouble now and again with doing too much multitasking. That's normal. I gotta do multitasking here.
I want to work here full time and then get a part-time job working in a hospital, helping the nurses with the patients. You know, I say to myself, gee, this person can't feed themselves and they're struggling so hard, and here I am, I could do it. So you know what, after I'm done eating, if they're still struggling, you know what, I'm going to ask and see if I can feed them. You know, hey, that's how I am. I can't help it.
Richard Messier is 60 years old and employed by the Bottleworks Cafe in Danbury. For the first 21 years of his life, Richard lived in an attic room and roamed the streets of Waterbury. As an adult, he was institutionalized at the Southbury Training School, one of the largest and last remaining institutions in the country. While there, Richard did not have a single visitor for 30 years. In 1990, two social service providers visiting the institution met Richard. As they came to know him, they realized that he could live in the community and took steps to become his legal guardians. Richard would soon become the focus of a pioneer legal case in the emerging area of self-determination for people with intellectual disabilities.
Richard Messier was the first person 9 years ago to leave a public institution with an individual budget and control with a small circle of friends. The first person in the country to do that. And he has been, enormously successful. His life has changed immeasurably. The quality of his life has literally gone through the roof, and the costs to the state have been reduced so substantially that it's highly unique. So self-determination is about taking the money in the system, creating individual budgets, putting it under the control of individuals with disabilities, families, and allies, and constructing with that budget a meaningful life deeply embedded in the community.
Tom McCann holds a job and owns a home in Manchester. For him, independence started with encouragement from his family.
My mother, my father never limited my abilities. I was treated like a normal human being. My siblings, who I love so much, taught me the way that life is. They told me, just follow your dreams. I am living my dream right now. I have a job at Stop and Shop, which I'm glad I work there. I kid with them, they kid with me. They don't say, oh, I'm sorry that you have a disability.
Thanks, Tom. Nice job.
Oh, you're quite welcome.
Tom McCann is the president of a self-advocacy group for people with intellectual disabilities called People First.
I'm a self-advocate. I help other people to know their rights. I think nobody likes the word Department of Mental Retarded, because we are not retarded.
We have a suggestion for it.
What?
Department of Disability Support.
Maybe Department of Independence Supportive or Support.
That's another good name too.
Yeah. Yeah, because I like if the name has support.
The thing is, we do need support.
We've been able to see a transition from an institutional vision where they be safe and secure and protected from society to a community approach where they are part of the community, where they're living, working, enjoying their leisure time, living near their families and with neighbors and with coworkers. So it's really wonderful.
I was living at Mystic, and they said, how would you like to have Harriet for roommate? I said, sure, I would like it. So we went over a place, and we met. A group home. They were officers in the group home. We met.
I didn't realize it was getting her, number one. I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, don't you want a roommate? I went, yes. Well, before I even knew, I was twisting my eyes and not looking over at her. I'm like, I was like stunned, in other words. She looked at me and I looked at her and I went, Debbie, is that you? It's your daughter, you're not one. So I said to me, Harriet, hello. I'm here to see you. I went, huh? Then that dawned on me. It was like a miracle that came true.
Really? Why? Because you were good friends?
We were more than just good friends.
Really?
Yeah.
She very good. I like her roommate. She do good things with me. And on Saturday we go down and have coffee and make copies, and she do her books.
She is a wonderful, wonderful roommate. We do a lot of fun things together. We go places together. We go on vacation together. We do a lot together.
I have my freedom. I can do what I want. I can stay home when I want. I got the ARC that is wonderful to me. I enjoy going to the ARC Center for recreation. We go there on Fridays and see our friends.
And stuff like that. Well, I generally go to work and stuff like that.
What do you do there?
I make beds and stuff like that. I make beds and I work the floors for them and stuff like that. Plus I get paid for it too. They even paid me for it.
John Gibson and Annie Spaulding met at a Norwalk Center for people with intellectual disabilities. They've been married 5 years.
Well, the first time I went over there, in her room, and opened up the window.
I opened it.
She was falling asleep. When she got up, and I asked her to marry me, and just stopped the question like that. I love her, and I love her body and everything else.
Don't bring that up. It's been great.
It's been great.
Oh yeah, I'm talking. Shush. So we have our own space.
We take turns cooking.
I prepare the whole dinner for spaghetti. Got your meatballs, and coffee in the mornings, and your eggs and stuff.
I help him once in a while, and he helps me, right?
Yep.
So
You make
therefore,
desserts, cake, or rice pudding and stuff like that.
or whatever.
Or whatever. She makes cigarettes on top of the stove.
We don't.
Well, so I have a cigarette or I have a beer or something. I like it that way. Can't smoke in here at all.
He comes in the house with smoker's breath, and I can't stand it. We're both involved in the church choir on Thursdays and Sundays,
That's right.
and also Clay Place, right?
I played house last night.
And also Wednesday nights we go to night school at Norwalk High.
Tell me who was there last night.
Last night we had Lieutenant Peter Randall from the Norwalk Police Department. Honey, I'm talking, okay? You ever said that we have a spat between us? We argue and then it's over. Right on?
Yeah.
How do you come to an agreement if you have a spat, and how do you resolve the problem?
We work it out.
We just work it out together.
Annie and John may seem like a typical married couple, and in many ways they are. That in itself is a testament to the enormous progress that has been made in the past half-century. Since Evelyn Kennedy was first advised to have her son Brian put away. Some advancements have been made in the development of lifelong support services and in the area of early intervention, which can dramatically improve the quality of life of a person with intellectual disabilities. But that doesn't make it any easier for parents today who hear the news that Evelyn Kennedy once heard.
The pediatrician came in about 2 hours after he was born and told us that there was a possibility of Down syndrome.
You know, we went into the experience expecting to be really joyous, and everybody was just devastated.
Tears came to my eyes, more or less for the sake of thinking, what is he going to go through for his life? You know, what are the obstacles he's going to face? Is he healthy? These doctors are all going to pile in here and poke and prod at my baby.
My husband and I were talking, and you know, he said to me, you know, if it wasn't for the Down syndrome, this would be a breeze. So I mentioned it to Patricia, Elliot's therapist, and she goes, forget about the Down syndrome. So we did. And can we count the pigs? How many pigs? 1, 2, 3, 4. Are they doing nighty-night?
I want Cal to do and be what he wants to do. I've never once said, oh gosh, Cal shouldn't do that. More or less, I want him to try that. I want him to do that. You know, Finn's climbing up a tree. Okay, how am I going to manipulate it so Cal can have that same excitement and seeing his big brother being up in a tree? How can I help him figure out the way to do that and help him along in achieving that? Ready? Hold on.
Oh, yeah. Mommy, he doesn't need any help.
Presently, in the state of Connecticut, 15,000 adults now receive benefit from support services. Yet there are about 2,000 who are awaiting or will need state assistance. More than 600 people reside at a renovated Southbury training school. Yet some advocates maintain there is no longer a need for such institutions. People of goodwill can disagree on how best to assist those in need, but all recognize more remains to be done to ensure that they enjoy the basic rights most of us take for granted: to participate in decisions about their care, to hold a job, or simply have a say in where they live. This remains our challenge.
I said to him when I bought this, I says, Brian, I got you a bedroom, you got your pool, you got everything. I said, you know, he says, Mom, how about hitting me between the eyes on this one? He says, Mom, do you love your home? I said, yes, Brian. He says, me love me home too.
I think he'll be fine. I mean, when he was born, my first thought was, he's never going to leave home. And then when I realized that he probably would, I thought, oh my God, he is going to leave home.
It's hard, but I'm used to it. So I have my life now. working in the real world.
I appreciate the finer things in life where other people don't even think about it. They're like, I could take off my own clothes. I don't need to get excited. But somebody like me does. Because I didn't think I was going to make it that far. But now I can. Yay!
Well, if I had a boyfriend when I passed high school, well, for example, if I go to high school and I pass the test and walk into middle school, then I'll definitely get a boyfriend.
I love my wife a lot. She's a nice woman. My wife's
Takes a lot. He comes home and I say, "Hi, babe, how was your day? Here's a perfect guy for me."
What's your future look like, Harriet? What do you want to do in the future?
Being with my roommate, doing things with my roommate, besides on the satellite, and go to school together and stuff. We being her do all that.
Life is pretty good.
Yes, it is.
I have so many people tell me how lucky Cal is to have us. And I look at them and I tell them, no, we're the lucky ones. He teaches each one of us something new each day and how to be better people.
We're not a label. We are human beings that want to be treated like human beings. And as long as we have people with disability, we're going to keep on walking. We're going to change this society for the better.
Really? You're happy? I am too.
If you can have one special wish in the world, it could be materialistic or it could be just anything. What would you wish for?
I don't know what's not materialistic.
What kind of materialistic thing would you wish for?
For example, if I wish for something, I probably wish I can be the weather person every day on TV. Amy.
That's good. That's a good wish.
Every night we sit down and watch TV, watch the wedding video, do her hair.
Or watch Regis.
Regis filming.
Wants to be a millionaire.
Smackdown tonight at 9, because I won't be here.
Because they see a person in the wheelchair and they get all sad and stuff. And they don't want to act like themselves. Because if they bump into my foot, they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." And I'm like, "Don't worry about it, I'm not going to break." Don't panic, it's okay.
Actually, I like to see people with disability take over this country. I think we could do one heck of a good job.
Funding for the challenge was made possible by St. Paul Travelers, with additional support provided by Ability Beyond Disability.